Oh man, do you want to start this conversation on the judge or should I?
I mean, I'll just start. For me, this is where the movie shines the most is like inside the actual mansion, like just the production design and the way things move. Because like when he first is coming out, like his desk starts coming out and it plays music, and then the thing lifts up, and then like he's on like, well, he's kind of hidden at the beginning. You can't really see him because there's like books in the way. But then he's like on this like automated chair that like lowers down and moves around. To me, like that's the biggest strong suit of this film is just like the work they put into the effects and like the sets and all this stuff. But yeah, just the introduction, like he starts out quiet, and then you're thinking he's just like old and senile. And then as soon as they start giving him lip, then it's like, yeah, now you see the real judge. He starts biting their heads off.
You mentioned the set design and everything, all that stuff. So the studio actually, okay, so back up, not the studio. They were actually spending money from the budget at like appliance shops, appliance stores, and places all over, and buying them all up in bulk, and then bringing them back and aging them up and using them as part of the set, because you had the whole junkyard thing and the house itself, because it kind of looks like a bunch of hoarders living there. And so once the studio caught wind of this, they put they were quick to pump the brakes on that and be like, they shot that shit down. And so what they ended up doing was there was this, they found this guy who had all this stuff in like bulk. Like, I guess he was a fellow hoarder himself. And, they happily took all the stuff off his hands and used it for here. Yeah, some guy in where the hell was it? I read that they found him. I want to say Vermont or something like that. They found this dude who just happened to have like, he was like an industrial farmer or something like that, I think I read. And yeah, he ended up just giving them all the stuff they need. He happened to have it all. So I feel like, though, rather the house itself, I feel like I've seen it before, like in an older production or an old movie or something. Like, it sort of has the same design and layout as the Tales from the Crypt house from the HBO series. I know it's not the same house, but it kind of looks like that. And it's funny too, because the other thing that when I look at this mansion, it reminds me of actually comes from an episode of Tales from the Crypt, where like this like frat house, like this like fraternity and this of these guys, this initiation of sending people into this old haunted house that looks just like this, and the people that were sending in, they gotta last like 10 minutes in the house or some bullshit like that. I haven't seen the episode in forever. But anyway, the house looks just like that. That's what it reminds me of. So, then we got this bit here. The judge can't pronounce Fausto's last name, then thinks that they're there for a wedding.
Yeah.
What else? Then he just suddenly snaps before breaking into random tangent, like hula 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 hula, and something something something. It's like, what the fuck is going on now? Chevy goes to light up a stogie and eventually flips out when the judge continues to go on and on and on, and mentions postponing to the next day. Then Valerie Bromfield's character, Miss Perda, is never addressed by her name. She's the woman here with the shotgun who's like, young man, there's no smoking in here. And then she's like, she points out that there's no cussing either. She's never mentioned by name, but in the credits, her name is Miss Perda. And at one point in the entire movie, no, I'm sorry, not one point in this entire movie is her name referenced. She's called Constable by Judge and Cousin by Dennis, John Candy's character. So, speaking of her role, that character, Dan Aykroyd offered the role originally to fellow Second City colleague Catherine O'Hara. Come on, Catherine O'Hara,
Yeah, I
Beetlejuice,
could see her in that. I could see her doing that.
Kevin McAllister's mother.
Yeah.
Absolutely, me too. But she strongly considered the role because she wanted to reunite with John Candy, as they just finished 3 films in 1990 alone, including, Home Alone. But then she wanted to take a small break for a year from acting, so she ended up doing that.
I literally never wanted to punch a movie in its face more than I had last night.
Definitely worth your time. It's definitely worth revisiting.
15 minutes in, I'm like, Dorothy, we're not in Oakland anymore.
It's in 4K, buddy. Check it out.
They were kind of like an afternoon, drive time type thing. Or like the type of podcast you listen to at work.